Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's hard to beat the engaging session that just happened just now. We'll still try to match up to it. I don't think we can, but still we'll try to keep you engaged over here. My name is Abhishek Gupta. We are going to talk about AI in marketing. I know it is a word which lately has been kind of word in fashion. What we are trying to do over here is between the three of us, we will try to deconstruct what AI is, how can AI be used in marketing. And one thing that we have agreed before the start of this panel is that we will probably keep it free from any jargons. And we'll probably try to keep it very down to earth so all of us can actually have a very fruitful conversation. As I was driving to work yesterday, I was listening to radio. And in one of the radio channels, suddenly I could hear a very different kind of voice coming out from the RJ. That voice, if you listen, there was some hint of being a machine-led voice and not exactly a human voice. Then I realized as the conversation continued that this is actually an AI RJ. It is not a human RJ, it's an AI RJ, aptly called as AI Shah. And she is talking and saying that I am an AI RJ and I am here to run this program. And then suddenly an actual RJ comes in the conversation, drops in and said, "Tum to AI ho. How can you run a conversation? How can you bring in?" And I said, "Koi baat nahi, mujhse baat karo." And they start to have a conversation, and that AI RJ is actually able to match up to the conversation. And then finally this says, "Okay, baat to kar leti ho, ab batao emotion kahan se laoge? Hans ke dikhao." And this AI RJ then actually tries to laugh. That laugh is actually very machine kind of a laugh. And it's very artificial and this thing. And the human RJ says, "Dekha, tumhe hasna bhi nahi aata." So that AI Shah says, "ठीक है, अभी नहीं आता, सीख लूंगी. मेरा काम ही है सीखना. जैसे जैसे टाइम बढ़ता जाएगा, मेरी हंसी नेचुरल होती जाएगी. और थोड़े टाइम बाद प्रोबेबली तुमसे भी अच्छी मैं ह्यूमन हंसी करके दिखा दूंगी." And then as the segment ends, as this capsule ends, you can hear that this AI Shah is practicing laughing. That got me thinking is, how is this AI spreading across? How lines are getting blurred? I don't know whether that thing that was happening on that particular channel was actually a AI RJ or that was actually a scripted one. But conceptually, if I look, AI is actually going to be across everywhere as we are going. So let's jump right into it. Before we go something, I think it is important that we understand AI bala kya hai, what exactly is AI. And I will request Atit to probably deconstruct this AI in probably very simple terms, that what exactly is AI. And if you can keep the discussion focused around AI within marketing.
So I'm not an expert in technology or AI, but simply put, as a layman, there are two words. If you just think about it, there is artificial and there is intelligence. Yeah. Let's take one word at a time. Let's take intelligence first. We are all born intelligent. All of us come with some basic level of intelligence. And over a period of time, the education, the surrounding, the environment, the friend circle, the family upbringing, the corporates, the type of people you work with, we start learning, and our intelligent quotient, the IQ, which we say, starts going up. Some of us will really become very, very intelligent, and success is not about money, but success is also about intelligence. And some of us will be average. That is the way human intelligence grows. Now add the word artificial. Everything what we learn through our environment, our growing up years, in our corporate life, and everything else which we do is done now through deep tech and technology. So simply put, at least in a layman's language, it is nothing but intelligence or experiences and intelligence now getting converted into a platform. And the more usage, the more time spent, will make it sharper and sharper, better and much, much more accurate to do day-to-day jobs, which till yesterday, my mind was doing.
Okay. And if you can go, so that was AI. But what is AI in marketing?
AI in marketing is everything, and it will become everything as we go forward. But as we were chatting outside, all my jobs are done. The exact example you gave about this radio RJ, tomorrow you will not require RJ. I can run a radio station without human beings. Everything will be on a press of a button. So it is everything, because if content can be generated, interaction can be created using technology, everything else can be made possible, whether it is marketing or anything, any field outside marketing, in any business, any personal basis. So it's very, very early days. The challenges, which personally I feel, we all talk about it, but none of us are experts. We believe that we are, because we have not developed our regular intelligence on it. We try to become experts of artificial intelligence, but the day you start understanding the value creation it provides, it will become a much, much more easier task. The challenge is to understand how to use it. Exactly, Chat GPT, we are all like, and now Gemini, which got announced 2-3 days back. It's not about what the output is. The biggest thing to use a platform like that is how do you put in your queries. You need to learn to put in the right prompt stroke queries to get the output. Exactly the same thing. So tomorrow if I want to write a script, I will not go to the big fancy creative directors and agencies, because everything would be available, and then little bit of your understanding, somebody else's understanding, you have a fully tested, ABC tested, unparalleled script, and everything else which follows after that.
So I have a question, follow-up question, but I'll come to that later. But from what you explained about AI, I remember when we were studying in school, ना हिंदी में एक कहावत हुआ करते थे, करत करत अभ्यास के जड़मती होत सुजान. उसका एक्चुअली मतलब था कि एज यू कीप ऑन प्रैक्टिसिंग, करत करत अभ्यास के, जड़मती मीन्स बुद्धू, होत सुजान मतलब बिकम्स वेरी इंटेलिजेंट. So something that we were told about AI, as you keep on experimenting, as you keep on feeding, it will get smarter and smarter and smarter.
But as marketers and everybody else, we need to learn how to use it. You cannot depend on somebody else will do it for you, because if you need to keep yourself relevant, you need to learn how to take advantage of what technology is providing. We don't spend time on that. We only talk about the output and not concentrate on the input. So if you do the input well, your output is 100% going to be better.
Okay. Now, as Ma'am Roshni was saying, that from AI we have moved to Gen AI. Saurabh, my question to you is, now Atit has explained to us AI in a very simple term. Can you explain Gen AI? What exactly is Gen AI and how does it work?
Yeah, look, great question, Abhishek, right? So, but it's not a secret sauce. You are on a mobile, you can type what is Gen AI, you will get an answer from Gen AI itself. But let me put it this way. AI is a very vast world. Within AI, if I look at from a marketing point of view, right? So one is the Gen AI, which generates image, video. You mentioned one of the examples. So image, video, text, and few other media. This is what Gen AI is all about, through the prompt which you put in front of the Gen AI, right? This is what Gen AI does. It's also called, one of the example of Gen AI, which we all are knowing, is a Chat GPT, which is a large language model, LLM, not a small language model. So this is what Gen AI in a simple word. So it, with your prompts, it can generate text, video, image, and few other media, right? So that's one. Now, Abhishek, do you want me to talk about that, how it's applicable in marketing a little bit, as just adding on what you have just said? So I'll give you an example. Last month, I was writing a brief for one of my campaign. And as I'm part of HP team, so I was writing a brief for my campaign on our endpoint solutions. So the one-liner brief which I wrote, that what is the core insight for this campaign is that technology in the current era is a tool of culture than just a productivity, right? So that means we are talking about that how technology is becoming part of our life, especially when I talk about the Gen AI, right? So that brief itself says that, for example, right, when we are going to expand that brief, that what exactly this means that whatever media piece which we'll do as part of the brief should be part of using technology to maybe implementing that media into various segments, right? We all know that how media works. But when we personalize it, how do we really personalize it, right? This media, right? Or segment it to the right segment. That's where this Gen AI or a LLM can be helpful. One of the example, Abhishek, I would like to give, which we are doing at our company, at our marketing team, is that we are not just going and using any LLM model or chat GPT and putting prompts and getting the response and putting that into a brief or a content generation. What we are doing, first of all, we have sandboxed that chat GPT module. Once we have sandboxed it, we cannot just, as I said, right, even after sandboxing, if I put a prompt, that gives me a very generic answer, right? I cannot use it for any of my things until unless it really resonates with my brand image. So what we are doing right now, we are creating a parallel small language model, SML, which is learning HP's brand, that how we communicate, what are the different ways we are doing things in the marketing, and then we are integrating this small language model, SLM, with this large language model. So now once this integration happens, and by the way, for a few of the use cases, it already happened. A marketer in my team, he puts a prompt that I need this content. That content, when this new GPT will generate, it will be very much towards the brand image of HP. So the person, the marketer, can use it as it is mostly, right? So one of the question always in marketing, when we use any large language model, be it ChatGPT, anything, it's very important that that LLM should be trained in a way that it gives you the right or contextual solution for your problems. So I think this is what I wanted to add. I hope this clarifies that what is this large language model or ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, it does to a certain extent, but from both of you, what you have answered, I actually have a question coming to my mind, and either of you can answer. What I've understood, what you have told is that yes, there are a lot of use cases, but you need to understand how to use it, what kind of questions you ask it. You know, if I actually go back decades, computer started this way. Okay, you do the software programming right, or you do the code right, and it will give you the output. So is AI, actually does AI, using AI entails a lot of technical knowledge at the user's end to make full use of it, that I need to understand how to use it? Or is it probably much more easier as compared to writing a code?
Yeah, so I think great question. So look, your question, Abhishek, is that marketer need to understand these technical jargons or not, right?
Yes, yes.
So let me tell you this way. Honestly, you need a data science team to solve for that. What a marketer should know is the use cases, the data repository which you want to use to generate content, because as a marketer you should know, right, where your data is sitting, right? And then the third thing, what kind of prompts you should be putting in. Once you define these things, say, let's say in an Excel sheet, you can pass it on. I'm just giving you a very practical example, guys, right? You put this entire documentation and pass it on to your data science team that, hey, look, these are my data sets from where I want to fetch the data. These are my prompts, and these are the kind of content which I am looking as an outcome. Only outcome, right? Marketer should know what is the outcome you are driving, right? And then data science team will go and write the algo, integrate with the large language model, and then you can start working on it. So that's how it should be.
So some bit of expertise in understanding what this tool can do for you and what is the kind of questions you need to ask, what is
Yes.
the kind of data sets you want in, and probably some in looking at what is the kind of output you desire. You need to have that kind of clarity as a marketer.
Absolutely, and there are many courses available online which teach you how to write prompt, right? That's super critical and important because it's all on prompt.
So I think the lesson that is coming out to all the marketers over here is start learning how to use AI. Don't
Absolutely.
just rely on your agency partners. Don't just rely on your teams to do it for you. Better start getting into midst of it. Do practical use cases of how to use it. Start small, but start doing it. Start running the prompts. Start asking the questions to AI so that you get better at it. That's what I'm learning from.
Absolutely.
Great. Atit, can you give us some practical use cases in edutech industry of how AI is being used? And you were also mentioning some very interesting use case that you are currently experimenting with the organization. Probably you can talk about that as well.
Yeah. So, see, education is something which is round the year, no seasonality, no changes. It's like you will eat every day, you will breathe every day, you will have to study every day if you are a parent. But the biggest difference over here is that every student absorbs and learns at a different pace. I learn faster, he learns slow. So now, how do I ensure that the content which companies are creating, the educational companies are creating, is getting catered to me as per my requirement? Because I'm learning very fast, he's learning very slow. If I give him that level of content, he will not understand, he will not come back, the company loses him as a student. I'm learning very fast, but if I get the same pace of content, the same difficulty of content, you will lose me also because there are other people providing it. So the challenge is all about personalization and hardcore customization. Give me what I want, primarily through providing me the right level of understanding, question banks, test prep, everything we need to do as far as education is concerned, and that's exactly what the company is trying to do. It's again very, very early days. It will take some time because once you go back to the market, I need to be 100% sure that I'm going to provide that customized learning experience and not a generic thing. And there's a big difference. There is a generative AI and there is also something which is called the analytics AI.
Okay.
While we all talk about future mein kya hoega, how is he going to do generative stuff, but what about things which you have? So EdTech, primarily it's more about analytics because I need to look at what time spent I have done, how many hours I've spent on biology compared to a geography. Whether in geography I'm interested in topography or I'm interested in something else. And that will help me, that will become a huge analytics set, a cohort. Go back to your data scientist team, they will do the right thing. But just to add to what you said, just digressing a bit, when we are writing a brief to sell, earlier I used to write a brief to sell this bottle of water. I'm writing the brief. Same way if I'm going and telling the data scientist, I need to know what I need to tell him. Otherwise, you will give him junk, he will give a bigger junk. So all this thing is hardcore analytics, use deep tech technology, and one day it's a matter of like 6 months or at max a year, as per your learning ability, the system will start throwing content. If you don't understand a high level, automatically without you realizing it, you will go a level below. You will go a level below till the time you are completely, fundamentally, conceptually clear about your learning. Then you go back, and that's the oscillation which will happen horizontally and vertically, and that will make you a better learner, and eventually you will be seeing better outputs in terms of your scores. So that's the biggest case study or the biggest usage which is happening of both generative, more importantly, analytics to drive the business.
But is it already in action in terms of?
Already in action, lot of testing is happening, lot of experiments are happening, but if you have to take it to the market and make a big announcement, then you need to be 100% sure. Nobody will want a situation that you are half-baked and then you go out of the market. So in the typical way, this alpha beta testing is going on. The rocket ship should launch anytime.
Excellent. It is personalization or probably a segmentation where the size of the segment is one. Nice. Saurabh, you come from a business which straddles across both product as well as services.
Yeah.
With both equally important. Both are hugely consumed and they have their distinct set of consumers. But as an organization, you straddle across both of these. How do your company use AI, especially in marketing?
Yeah, so I think there are a couple of ways, which are one of the ways which I mentioned just now, right? That how we are making a small language model and integrating with the large language model. The other, as you said, that we are one side we are a hardware company as well as we do services and solutions a lot. See, the consumer is typically the same. However, this requires a lot of hyper targeting, Abhishek, and hyper segmentation. That's where we use a lot of these LLMs, again, not the generic LLM, which is ChatGPT, but a sandbox model. Within our company, we have procured it. And we have some of the prompts which are already defined as a taxonomy. And then I will let, and we all let our marketeers to go and experiment. So let's say we are running a campaign right now, Abhishek. If that campaign has to go to, for example, Indore, running a media in Indore for a SMB, small and medium business, within SMB a manufacturing, and within manufacturing, if I'm looking at a 50 size employee CXO and the challenges he or she is facing, right? So this kind of hyper segmentation, which we define it first, and then we ask our media team that what kind of hyper personalization, one from a media platform perspective, and second our content team in terms of what messaging would work for them so that the ad comes in front of that CXO and that CXO quickly realizes it, that okay, this is for me, this ad is speaking with me rather than a generic audience, right? So that kind of personalization we are doing, one from an audience perspective, their pain point, and the second from our own product and services perspective. So let's say we have a product called Dragonfly laptop, for example, I'm just putting it, which has got AI-based noise cancelling, right? And this is a super premium category which I'm talking about. So this is meant for the CXOs, for example. How that CXO will know that this is for me, right? So that kind of personalization, which we are doing it by using plain and simple LLM, which is another version of ChatGPT, definitely combined with a small language model within HP, which we have developed it, and then we are going into the market. What it helps, right, to a marketeer? My budgets are limited. We all know that we all have limited budgets. Media eats into all. We have a limited time to run on that media, right? Because there is a production cost and there is a media cost. So I have very limited budget, let's suppose. So I will be very specific that if next 4 weeks I am running it, that should come across that target audience in a right messaging, right? So these are the couple of things which we are trying to solve for as a real use case for all of our marketeers, for all of our customers. And therefore, our next step would be that how do we make this really as a ROI driven? I don't think we have still looked at the ROI, but certainly this is saving a lot of cost for us.
Nice. So what I have understood from both of you is one very big case of AI within marketing is number one is personalization. It's the era of personalization. I don't want to understand what do people like me consume. I really want to understand what do I consume and what do I want, not people like me. And second is what you brought on very beautifully is optimization. Very two big use cases of AI. To be fair to the panel, let me also explain how AI can help in life insurance marketing. I'll just give one practical use case. life insurance is a difficult product to sell. Very difficult product to sell. You knock 10 doors, out of that, one door will open for you. And out of the 10 doors that will open for you, probably one will get converted. So normally 1 in 100, 1 in 100 knocks that you do. That is the kind of conversion ratio that we look into. So, and we have a huge field force. Almost all insurance companies have a huge field force. So at a given point of time, so we are one of the smaller players, but we still have 65,000 people on the street, on the field, selling life insurance products. So understand, from a business predictability, I will never know how many meetings are happening, how many things are happening, out of those meetings, how many will convert, and therefore probably arrive at a fair prediction of where this month will end at. What AI does is actually really helps us to, of all the meetings that have happened and kind of inputs that the field team has put in about the data point about the customer, it throws out that what are the numbers that we are likely to close at, depending upon the kind of questions have been asked, depending upon the kind of products that have been pitched to the customers, depending upon the ticket sizes that the customers have been pitched in, depending on the dependents that the customer has and everything. So now we have a working model by which we are able to fairly predict that where we will end up the month depending upon the, but it is completely dependent upon, and both of you also brought it out, is what data has been put in. So I think if we go back to consumer research days में ये बोला जाता था कि as long as you know what to ask properly, if your research brief is correct, the output will be correct. Otherwise, research is like torture. You can make research say whatever you want. जो आप उसको उस डेटा को, as long as however you torture, it will give you the output that you want. Similarly is AI. You should know what to ask. That would mean you need to have a clear grasp of the problem at hand. And that probably comes from human intelligence. That might not come from AI currently. I do not know what future will hold, but that is where it is. So, going to our next question. Do we have time? How are we doing on time? 5 minutes. Okay, so we'll quickly do one quick question. And probably Atit, we can just be a quick answer. And although we have touched upon it, but in a nutshell, what should marketers prepare themselves to so that they are able to take full advantage of AI? What are one or two things that they need to do today that they are able to make use of this?
We both spoke about it. You also spoke about it. It is the input. Somebody has to tell the system. Somebody has to tell the analytics team. Somebody has to go and tell the data scientist team. Somebody has to code. Who's that somebody? That somebody who is you as a business leader. As I said, Saurabh also, if you don't do the input well, and if you don't know how to put in the input, you will never get the desired output. Do that well today, you will be much more better off tomorrow.
Nice. And Saurabh, is AI, machine learning, generative AI, all these are the current buzzwords, but all these are going to stay over here, or these are just a fad that they will come and go? And at the sound of quoting a controversy, one of the fad that really started at that time earlier was metaverse. We don't know where it is right now, how it will go on. But is it also going to the same route, that this is the flavor of the season and probably something else will come, or do you think it is here to stay?
So I have my very much personal view, great question. So I think this is the new, these things have been said before. So I think we are right now sitting in a stage seeing this electricity, right? We are not making, when this has come first, this has changed the world, right?
Yes.
So I think AI is the new electricity, is going to stay, is going to evolve, but certainly I think it's going to augment all of us. A lot of augmentation is possible, not only in marketing, but many other fields. I think you will go to any of the research labs of these companies and you will see how people are really experimenting it. So I think it's going to stay, Abhishek. It will become more stronger.
Nice. So it is going to stay. So ultimately, all of us would like to have our own Jarvis at a later stage to take care of whatever we want.
Absolutely.
Can I just end with something?
Sure.
So I'll just give you a very lighter note. Marketing White Book Conclave, season 19th edition. None of us are required. There is enough and more information. Anurag can just put like full all
Absolutely.
these things. And we can just sit at home in our offices, wherever, and have better conversation, because I'm talking from experience, he's talking from experience. But if it's a system generated, it will be so accurate. We don't require all these things. However, I will not get to hug Anurag when I came here. I will never get to understand what insurance happens. I never knew that when we are sitting outside, we asked him that, what do you do? It's not HP, the laptop. There are like multiple businesses, which I didn't know. Now that will not come out. So the subconscious mind, the human touch, that nobody can take it away. So we'll see you next year, same time.
Great point.
Same place.
Great point.
Great. Actually, you almost took away my closing. I'm reminded of a line, a very beautiful line in advertising, that at 60 miles per hour, all of you would have heard it from Ogilvy. At 60 miles per hour, the only noise you will hear is the clock ticking inside the new Rolls Royce. A classic copy. That is what is creativity. I am not sure whether AI will come to that level, and that is where we require human emotions. That is where we require understanding of human. That is what we require, intelligence, creativity. I don't know whether AI will go there or not. That debate is still out. But so it's a question that still has not answered. But my personal belief is, I don't think AI is going to go to that level, but still, it's open. With that, we come to end of this. Any of you have any questions? Happy to take. Please, sir. Yes. Can we have mic being sent?
I think I'm loud enough.
Yes, you are.
My name is Peshwa Acharya.
Of course, Peshwa, I know. Yes, definitely. Yes.
Anurag said, so I have two very simple questions from all three of you.
पेशवा कोई भी क्वेश्चन आपकी तरफ से सिंपल नहीं हो सकता.
No. So this is more of personal question, because my son and daughter both are started working last 2-3 years. So they are one in marketing, one in design. I learn a lot from them. Okay, so one simple question I have as senior marketing folks, CMOs and above, can you suggest for young marketing people, marketing, not tech, what are some of those generative AI models they should know a little bit? What I mean by that is working knowledge of which ones. Should they know a little bit of ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E? There are lots, quite a lot in the text space, quite a lot in the image space. So from your experience, what do you think are the 2-3 the marketing folks should know, not the tech folks? Number one. My second question is that there's a term called prompt engineering, which is nothing but what you spoke about, that you have to give the right prompts in order to get the output. So how do, again, young marketers learn a little bit of how to do the right prompting? So these are the two very simple questions. It is for all three of you. Thanks.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I do, what I've been doing for the last 2-3 months. All of us should do it, including people who have just started work. Every day, I put 10 prompts on the system, on ChatGPT. Every day. Any random stuff. Anything which comes to my mind, including will India win the match today? Yeah, will Virat score his 50th century? I am just learning how to prompt well. Now, it's not about person starting his career today or somebody like us who is on the fag end of our careers. But try doing that, trust me, in 15-20 days, 1 month, every day 10 prompts you put. And see over a period of time, and read the outputs which the system throws out. You will see the better the prompt, the much more accurate the output. Do that, and that's the first starting point. Not for this person, that, but I think for all of us.
Yeah.
No, please.
So I will add to you first. One is the prompt engineering, as you rightly said. In marketing, I think I don't know how many of you, I think you all will know, one of the secret sauce of writing the right prompt is the way Abhishek and I or Atit and I is speaking. If you type exactly the same thing, ChatGPT will give you the right way. It should be the way you speak with each other, because it learns, right? So that's one of my self-learning. Other question you asked, which tools marketers should use. So what I use, I'll tell you now. For content, it's ChatGPT, definitely, as your, folks are joined some company, if they are allowed to use, they can use the ChatGPT generic model, or they can use the enterprise version, right? The second for mid-journey is very good one, which you mentioned just now. For video, they can use InVideo, which I am using currently for one of our project. And what else? One more you mentioned, right? Which one is that? Okay. So mid-journey and InVideo and ChatGPT. So one for video, one for content text, and one for the mid-journey content, which you can use it. So these are the three good ones right now, which I know. There are many others, actually. There are many other good ones. I just not coming to my mind which one are, but I think we can speak later and tell you that. Yeah. Gemini is available to use.
Yeah. So we should all go back. My excitement today morning was that after I finish this, I have 3-4 hours in the afternoon. It's a Friday afternoon. My only objective is to have nice lunch and try and start playing with Gemini. I don't know what is it, but yeah, that's the inquisitiveness, that's the intrigue, and if you keep on keeping that excitement of understanding what the hell is going on, more often than not, we should be okay with it in terms of output and understanding.
Any tips for the non-text thing? See, because on the text one, I have got some handle, but on the non-text, which is more around logo generation and non-text part, if there is any tips from you guys.
In video.
I'm saying in terms of usage, how to get better, anything you can tell. Otherwise, we'll take it offline.
I think let's take it offline, because I want to understand more exactly what you are trying to solve for, and then we can just look at it.